If you're thinking about buying a GPU, especially an NVIDIA GPU, you need to wait a little bit longer. And I know YouTubers say this all the time, just wait, and by then the new stuff is out. But there's stuff happening almost day to day, week to week, that GPU prices are going to be so much lower, potentially in a few weeks. There's some news going around specifically with some discounts that NVIDIA is giving the AIB partners, which should be passed down to consumers, maybe as much as 10%. And that, coupled with the already decreasing prices on GPUs, you may actually find the GPU that you want and not some like model that nobody really cares about for a price that's relatively much better than it was before. For example, yesterday I did a video showing that the 3070 Ti Asus TUF, which is a premium model, is at $699. Priced pretty good, is a Windows CD key. Today's video sponsor is going to be VIP-CDKdeals.com. Very simple process. You can get a Windows 10 Pro CD key, and remember to use code CC20 for a nice discount. Sold out pretty quick, but that's a huge drop from $949 just a few days before. That's a difference of almost 30%. So if it's going to go down that much, especially these TI GPUs that were announced after, which really have some fairly high pricing out of the box, if you will, 3070 Ti and 3080 Ti in particular, these are going to go down pretty hard. In fact, I have my computer open right here to Newegg, which is a place that more people have access to than something like Micro Center. And while the prices aren't perfect, there are in-stock GPUs. I'm looking at an RTX 3060 for $609. This should be considerably less, but it is in stock, which it wasn't before. And on the other end of the spectrum, we have here an RTX 3080, the new version, the 12GB, another Asus TUF. This one is $1,326. Now, that pricing is really terrible if you compare it to the original 3080. Of course, I know that, but Asus was selling these GPUs for like $1,500 a few weeks ago. So it's certainly a decrease in price, and I don't think we're going to see 3080s anyway for anywhere near what they used to be, like $700 or $800. Ideally, that's really what they should be, but that seems like it's more the pricing of like a 3070 Ti now or something like that. The big note here is all of these GPUs I'm looking at are in stock. There's even another one, a gigabyte. As you can see, a 3070 Ti, it's going for around $849, which is still very, very high, but it's lower than it was a few weeks ago by $100 or $200. So these, I think, are going to go down even further. We should see these 3070 Ti's maybe closer to that $700 range. After all, the MSRP of the Founders Edition is $599, and while you can expect to pay a little bit of a premium if you go for like an Asus TUF or even one of these gigabyte models, MSI, whichever third-party AIB, they're always going to throw in a little bit of a premium because of their specific coolers, because of RGB, and of course they generally probably can't sell it as cheaply as NVIDIA because the margins historically on GPUs have been pretty thin. So I think when companies saw that they could take advantage of higher pricing, they definitely increased these prices as much as they could get away with. Right now we're seeing the collapse of these prices with better availability. People aren't buying GPUs anywhere near the same rate as before. You can say it's worldwide factors. You can say perhaps it's less interest in crypto mining because of things happening with Ethereum. Maybe gamers just got a little bit fed up. Maybe production did ramp up. That's actually going to be part of the reason why NVIDIA is going to give a discount to their third-party AIB partners. Seems like their production of GPUs are a little bit more efficient now. It is a little bit funny how it coincides with this lower demand. All of a sudden, oh, we can produce GPUs more efficiently. Where was this news a few months ago when GPUs were like 2 to 3 times the MSRP? When you could find a 3080 10GB for $2,000 on the secondhand market, we surely weren't seeing any news of more availability and cheaper prices. What we did see was a 3080 12GB announced at a much closer pricing level to the scalper prices and really far from the original MSRP. So this is certainly some marketing ploy, marketing gimmick, but the good news is the price is going down. It just seems like a really big coincidence, like I said, that it comes with the lower demand now. So it's probably just another way of them saying that they don't want to admit that the third-party AIBs were almost price gouging in a way, because a lot of these GPUs, especially the newer models, the AIB models of like the 3080 at 12 gigabyte, that's pretty much price gouging. When you're selling the GPU for $1,500 in stores, we're not talking about your friendly neighborhood scalper. We're talking about in-store sales at literally twice the MSRP of the original 3080. That's way too much. That's not even like a generational leap. They're basically the same performance, aside from some more CUDA cores and a little bit more VRAM, 2 gigabytes more VRAM. So definitely seems like it's easier to say, oh, our efficiency all of a sudden is up, rather than, well, we're sorry we price gouged you for all these months. Now that you don't want to buy a GPU, here is cheaper GPUs and whatever reason you may insert here. So who knows what's going on there, but prices are certainly going down. And remember, these things go in cycles. It's possible we could have other issues like lockdowns and different things that can happen that's going to either stagnate the price decrease or shoot the price way up again. So we have to take advantage of lower pricing now. It may actually not be a bad time within the next week or two to purchase a GPU if you find one of these much cheaper prices and before some other crazy world event happens to ramp up the pricing of GPUs once again, which now that we've been in this crazy product cycle for the last few years for graphics cards, you can see that it's potentially very possible that something else could happen. All of a sudden GPUs disappear again from the market, the prices go crazy, and Nvidia uses whatever excuse to ramp the prices up again. So I would say take advantage when you see something that's a good price to buy it now, and the prices certainly are getting pretty attractive. Like the best example is that $699 3070 Ti. While it's not the $599 or the Founders Edition, you are getting the tough model, which is a little bit more of a premium. So I'm actually fine with that. $100 over the base model is fine. That's what people generally would pay anyway for an upgraded GPU. That's in no way price gouging. That's what I consider fair. But $949, what it was before, that's price gouging, and that's really unfair for the consumer. And we can see that they dropped it $280, so they had the room to drop it there the entire time. The margins were way more sufficient. They're just taking advantage of the market, pretty much like your friendly neighborhood scalper would be, making them basically no different. So we're going to see how gamers behave now that GPUs are going to be cheaper. Are people still going to buy them? Do people resent the graphics card companies, Nvidia, AMD, and all of their third-party AIB partners with these pricing tactics that went on? And of course, to be completely objective, a certain amount of price increase is expected, especially with all of the troubles that there have been in the manufacturing circles during the last few years. There are, very high demand from both gamers, crypto miners, machine learning, different AI type applications. So definitely there's a reason for some price increase. Here, I'm just really criticizing the massive price increases that really go beyond anything rational, and they step into the realm of price gouging or perhaps even taking advantage of the situation for consumers. I'll give you a real good clear-cut example. EVGA against some of the other third-party AIBs. Now, EVGA did keep their prices, of course higher than Founders Edition, but usually they were a lot lower than the other GPUs that were being sold. For example, you can get a 3080 Ti EVGA for the 1.3 in the $1,400 range, maybe $1,429, which is certainly a lot, but it's around $200 something over the MSRP of the Founders Edition, which we're going to use as the base reference price. Now, look at something like a 3080 Ti Strix. It was at one point $2,099. That is a massive price delta. I mean, we're talking, what, $800 difference almost between the same 3080 Ti basically, but just with a different cooler, maybe a little bit different aesthetic. Perhaps the performance is slightly different, but EVGA for the 1.3 is already a very high-end card. We're not even talking about like an XC3 or even the more stripped-down models. So is there a reason for that $800 price increase? I don't know. Asus looks like it was pricing it way too aggressively. I don't really think that GPU deserves that sort of a price increase. It's premium, but so is the EVGA for the 1.3. That illustrates the point how much these companies can stretch whatever that they're doing. Of course, there may be different agreements between these companies and Nvidia that may give EVGA, who is exclusive to Nvidia, better pricing on the GPUs as opposed to Asus, who does stuff with AMD and Nvidia. But still, any way you cut it, you're not going to justify that huge of a price difference on literally the same GPU. It comes down again to probably taking advantage of the computer. It really does come down to taking advantage of the consumer. I don't care which way you argue it, unless you're giving a tremendous value for that price increase, it's really not worth it. I mean, I was able to buy an EVGA 3090 Kingpin, which is one of the highest end GPUs you can buy, for cheaper than the 3080 Ti Strix. Now, is the 3080 Ti Strix any more premium than the 3090 Kingpin? I don't think so, and not in any planet. Everybody would agree and choose the 3090. Even if it was a base 3090, they probably would choose it over the 3080 Ti Strix. Never mind the Kingpin edition. So here is where you can see which companies took advantage of consumers with their very high pricing and which ones were a little bit more fair. They all have really ridiculous pricing, and some were definitely a little better, like EVGA is the best example that I can use. It's just objective. I'm not even pushing for one company or the other. I own Asus products, I own MSI, I've had Zotac in the past. I'm just going by pretty much what I see and what the consumer can buy. So just wait another week or two. I'm not even saying wait for months to buy a GPU, because there could be some big changes. But remember, if you do wait too long, there could be another event that drives these prices way up again. So you're going to have to keep an eye on it. The best way to do that, stay subscribed to me. I'm always sort of giving you guys updates as I see them, giving you tips on the GPU market, whatever your use case may be. So remember to subscribe, smash that like button, and I'll see you guys on the next video.